Goldeneye from Tina Turner makes you want something Turner. Normally I can do a good rhyme off the top of my head. I just didn't have anything for Turner at that point. Goldeneye. 6 years after the end of Timothy Dalton's run as Bond, we got Pierce Brosnan coming in for Goldeneye. Now, Pierce Brosnan, following in the lovely tradition of all the other Bonds, was roughly speaking, let's see, was born, I'm trying to find his age. It's 53, so he would have been 47 by 2000. So, yeah, he was already in his mid-40s. Following the tradition of many different Bonds, he was already in his mid-40s. Well, but you know what? That's fine. Took over the mantle of Bond, giving us Goldeneye. And it's basically Bond fighting another 007 fighting 006. He's fighting a rogue 00. Which, now that I think about it, it's kind of Skyfall as well, but they never actually say Silva was a 00, now I think about it. They said he was an agent, but not a 00. I don't know. Just fun, fun, one of those things where you go like, there's that a little bit of information. A little bit of information. But no, so we get the introduction of Pierce Brosnan as Bond. Sean Bean as Alex Trevelyan, 006. Isabella Scorupco, playing Natalia Simonova. Simonova. There we go. Simonova. Filman Jensen as Xenia Onatop. Joe Don Baker returns, except this time he's a new character, Jack Wade. Judi Dench is now M. Valentin Sukovsky, played by Robbie Coltrane. And Desmond Llewellyn returns as Q as well. Oh, do grow up, 007. God, I always love he'll always be Q. And this was definitely a new era for Bond. It was the 90s. It felt 90. It felt more like the modern era. Now, granted, every movie's in the modern era. But even because I own Goldeneye. I own, I think, all the Brosnan Bonds except Tomorrow Never Dies. I should really pick that one up. Just so I can round out the collection. Even watching this one still feels like more modern than the previous ones. And I think, because filming techniques have just improved by that point. So it made shooting it felt more, it made it feel more timeless in the sense of this could still theoretically be taking place maybe 10 years ago or something like that. And, it introduced the world to, it didn't introduce the world to Pierce Brosnan. Pierce Brosnan had been around for a while, but it really put him more on a lot of people's radar, if I'm going to be honest, because he'd been in things before then, sure. In fact, let's actually take a look real quick at what his filmography was before that point, because Daniel Craig had also been in many movies prior to that, but prior to Bond, but he, let's again be honest, his career kind of kicked off a bit more when he became Bond. So Goldeneye, like I said, came out in 1995. But before that, he did a love affair. He was actually in Mrs. Doubtfire. I believe it or not, I've actually never watched Mrs. Doubtfire. Entangled, Love. So he had already The Lawnmower Man. He'd already been in. He actually already had a pretty solid film career from there. He'd already been in plenty of movies and a lot of TV. That was the big one. Remington Steele was like one of his big breaks from 82 to 87. He had an entire TV career from that. And he was still doing TV past that, like Around the World in 80 Days TV miniseries. He did TV movies. But once Goldeneye kicked off, he was getting more and more thrills. He was in Mars Attacks, Dante's Peak, Robinson Crusoe, Tomorrow Never Dies, World's Not Enough, and Die Another Day. Thomas Crown Affair remake, Quest for Camelot. He voiced King Arthur. That's interesting. Grey Owl, The Simpsons TV series where he played himself. Laws of Attraction, After the Sunset, The Matador, Seraphim Falls, Shattered, Married Life, November Man. I actually really liked November Man. Mamma Mia, which as a Fallon fan, I don't like to talk about. The World's End. Oh man, I loved him in The World's End. He's had a really good, and he's got a bunch of stuff in post production, by the way. Like no joke, The King's Daughter, another version of Cinderella coming out. False Positive, The Misfits, Riverdance, The Medusa. Is that the mythological Medusa or Turmoil? The Medusa runs. No, sorry, it's not. Darn. Why can't we get more mythological creature movies? Darn you! Anyway, yeah, Pierce Brosnan obviously had a pretty solid TV career prior to that, and film career, but it really helped boost him past that, because now it's like, this guy played Bond, like, awesome. And to talk about Bond, to Pierce Brosnan, we gotta talk about him as Bond. Yeah, Brosnan, to me, is one of my favorite Bonds. I'll say that. Do I like him more than Sean Connery? Probably not. Do I like him more than Daniel Craig? Debatable. But do I like him more than Dalton? Do I like him more than Moore? And do I like him more than Lazenby? Oh, hell yeah, I do. Despite the fact in my previous video, I talked about Brosnan being in the camp of the pretty boy Bond. And let's be honest, Brosnan is a very pretty man. He's a handsome man too, but he is a bit of a pretty boy. But he's a pretty boy in the sense that when he turns on intense, he can be again, watch November Man. He's still a good-looking guy, but it's like when he goes intimidating, he's got that woman there. He's asking the guy the question. It's just you got to get him to answer the question. I don't think he hurt you. It's like whoa. It's like, yeah, he still got it. I also like the fact that this is the first time we see Bond actually display some legitimate fighting tactics, because all the Bond action films or action scenes up until this point had been very traditional, just and to be fair, that is kind of how a fight goes a little bit, but it's very stiff, it's very clunky. Sometimes you'll get a decent fight, like Bond trying to take on Oddjob. That fight made sense because Oddjob completely outclassed him in strength. But against some other individual who is kind of just your size and stuff like that, some of the fighting doesn't, it's too stiff, it makes no sense. But with Bond, with this Bond, we definitely get more of them. We still get those standard kicks and all those, and a bit of stiff fighting. But like when he's fighting Sean Bean in the the satellite or something like that, I love the fact that we actually see him employ blocks and grapples and stuff like that. Like we actually see him at one point. Alex is coming in for hits, and Bond's actually just like, he's actually blocking. Like, yeah, he's a trained assassin. He knows how to fight. That's how he should be performing. Now, obviously, when talking about actual fights, Craig is still the better fighter in terms of what we see from Bond. But it's still something I'm like, I really appreciate that aspect. The action sequences are good too. He chases them down in a freaking tank with the Bond music playing. Just in Justice Time. It's just such a good scene. And then he's just got the tank there waiting for them on the tracks. And even on top's like, who gets off on death and destruction. He's like, he's going to derail us. It's like, and he just shoots the train. Oh, man, it's great. Oh, man, it's awesome. And it's a great action sequence in the beginning of the film too. Absolutely, 100%. Sean Bean, the man who seems to always have it in his contract that he needs to die in films. That's actually not true. I think Sean Bean even says, like, I don't know why people say that. That's not really true. I don't always die in films, like, or my roles. Like, really? Because let me actually scroll through, and he's had a long history too, so I'm not going to go through everything. The Bill, Winter Flight, Punter. I'm just trying, and this is all the stuff I remember he's been in. Stormy Monday, War Requiem, Winter Prince. Wow, actually, his career started later in life. He didn't really start out until 84. Mike King's Heart, The Inspector, Patriot Games. He dies in that. Black Beauty. I don't know about that one. A lot of these I haven't seen, to be fair. But Ronin, I'm pretty sure he dies in that one. Essex Boys, I wouldn't be surprised if he died in that one. Don't Say a Word. Lord of the Rings, obviously. Equilibrium, I know he dies in that. Moby, obviously Game of Thrones. Henry VIII, he might have died in that. Troy, I'm pretty sure he dies in that. National Treasure, he gets caught, but he doesn't die in that. The Hitcher, he dies in that. Outlaw, I believe he dies in that. So yeah, he dies in a lot of stuff. He doesn't die in everything. Even I know he doesn't die in everything. But still, he is the Bond villain in this, absolutely. And it goes by Giannis, the being with two faces, because he gets scarred by Bond. Like I gave oh, don't worry, James. I've set it for 6 minutes, the same 6 minutes you gave me. It's like, what does that mean? We have 3 minutes. But no, he is, because of Shumby, he does have a very devilish charm to him. And, it's just like, James, I always was better. I like the fact, too, that his death, he's definitely got one of the best deaths in Bond, where it's like, not only does he fall from God knows how many stories onto just a flat metal satellite dish, probably breaking his back, coughing up blood, but then the actual satellite itself just, or antenna just comes in and crashes straight down on him. It's like, if you gotta go out like a boss. And speaking of which, that leads us to Xenia Onatopp, who is the Bond villain here, played by Famke Janssen, who, one of the more memorable ones, she crushes you to death with her thighs and gets off on it. Yeah, that's kind of like the big thing a lot of people remember for. That and her death, or the day of the helicopter, she pulls her against a tree because she's still hooked to the damn rope. And I'm pretty sure it breaks her back, and that's how she dies. Well, I do remember that scene where her and Bond are kind of seducing it to her. Really, she's trying to kill him and all that, and hurt him, and he's hurting her back, puts her on hot coals and burns her and all that. It's funny. Yeah, the movie does have a good balance of, it has a sense of humor, because Bond should always have a sense of humor about it. Even as serious as Craig's Bonds get, there are jokes in the movies. Like in Spectre, one of the most dreary of them, where the guy just comes up and he's just going, no, stay. There's a good joke in there. That's a great joke, honestly. And there are other jokes, like the scene where he lands on the couch. That's pretty fun. And we'll talk more about Spectre when we get to it. That's the only one I think I actually have a legitimate review for. And revisiting it, we'll see how I feel about it. But ultimately, I mean, yeah, like I said, the action sequences are great. The returning characters, Judi Dench as M was a great subversion of the trope. Like, we hadn't had a female M, and they even make a point of it. Say, it's like, you don't like me, Bond. You think I'm a bean counter? It's like, good, because I think you're a misogynist dinosaur, a relic of the Cold War. It's like, point taken. It's like, not quite. If you think I'm have any hesitation about sending you to your death, you're wrong, Bond. But the only difference is I won't do it on a whim. It's like, Judi Dench really nailed, I think, like, first off, it's Judi Dench. It's Dame Judi Dench. Come on. But she really captures that authority with the understanding that even she doesn't know everything, and Bond is better in certain areas than she could ever be. Hell, when we get her back again in the Craig era Bonds and Skyfall, she even admits, like, I never was a good shot. So, yeah. Whereas, you get Ray Fiennes, who is a good shot, because he was actually, he was in the Army. So, definitely appreciate this movie a lot. Like, the Bond song, definitely up there as one of the best Bond songs. Goldeneye, and it's Tina Turner, man. Come on, Tina. We never do everything nice and easy. We're gonna do things right. It's like, gotta love Tina Turner. What's love got to do? Got to do with it. Gonna stop before I get demonetized. That's what matters. Actually, I wouldn't get demonetized. I don't have any monetizations right now on my videos. I'd probably get flagged is what I'd get. But either way, is there anything else to really add about this movie? I mean, I could go character by character. The Bond girl, she's fine. Not one of the worst Bond girls ever. Not one of the. I really appreciate a Bond girl who isn't just there. Who actually is trying to help out in some way. That's why I appreciate Pussy Galore. That's why I appreciate Octopussy. Oh, excuse me. That's why I appreciate Simonova. Appreciate her. Halle Berry, obviously. Bond girls that just kind of stand around and get in the way are, yeah, they do fall on the lower end of the list. Like, honestly, the Russia with Love woman, I can't ever remember her name, but the woman from Russia with Love, yeah, not the best one, thinking back on it. Domino does help out a little bit. The two women in For You'll Only Live Twice, Tiffany Case is an interesting one. I don't know if I love or hate her. Solitaire was good. Was not bad. Dr. Goodhead, all right. Good Night is, Good Night's okay. Once you get into the Moore era, the Bond girls really. Actually, you know what? I'll be honest. I wasn't a big fan of the Bond girl in either of them, even though there's only one technically in For Your Eyes Only. What I forgot to mention in that video was, the truth is, she really did come off as childish. It's like, this is important. It's like, more important than my parents' murder. It's like, yeah, yeah. Because sorry, I mean, it sucks what happened, but yeah. And yes, because of her computer hacking skills, it did make her, it made her valuable to the story in some level. Which actually, we should talk about Alan Cummings real quick. Alan Cummings plays Boris. I am invincible. And he's Alan Cummings. I mean, even shitty movies, Alan Cummings is still enjoy. Hell, he's my favorite part of Love is Strange, and I really don't like that movie. It's got a good soundtrack, but I really don't like that movie. I've been misty. He's coming in singing Deep Pearl. I've been abused. I've been insulted, and I am not amused. Like, yeah, like it's one of the few really good moments in that movie for me. Otherwise, I do not like that movie. Now, that being said, if someone requested me to review, actually, I already reviewed it. I don't need to review it. I don't need to please you people any more than I have to. I reviewed it. Though if my girlfriend ever wanted to watch it, I suppose I could bite the bullet. We could make fun of it together. But yeah, ultimately, that is my thoughts on Goldeneye. Like, it's a really good Bond film. It is. Like, I can't think of any major flaw. Like, if I were to nitpick, I could probably find a few things that bugged me about it. But it's just a quintessential Bond film, in my opinion. But what do you think? You love it? Hate it? Like it? I think it's okay. Put in the comments below, let me know. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hit that bell if you want notifications. Ideas who would win Star Wars, Superhero Magic, what if anything to do in the channel. But that in the comments below, let me know. I'll do a review of it at some point. I am not going to do any Magic video today. There were a couple spoilers, but they were so few. Let me rephrase that. We had like a bunch of the lands, the flip lands or the module lands. And there was 2 cards spoiled. I'm like, you know what? I'll hold off until tomorrow when there are more spoilers before I talk about any Magic stuff. So, gonna hold that off just for a little bit. Till then, though, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you folks next time. Have a